Okay, so let me just preface by saying we're going to hope everything doesn't be glitchy because I have an absolute ton of tabs open right now, so hopefully my computer will cooperate. I just wanted to show you a couple of things about the website builder in GoDaddy and also a little bit about how to embed those forms that you're talking about so you can get people to subscribe and, be part of a sales process and also make sure your DKIM records are, set up and everything. Okay. Hold on. Okay. So when I come I'm already logged into my GoDaddy account. Basically, I'm just going to my products, which is exactly what you're seeing here. Um, the first thing, the issue with your DKIM records, even though yours is not going to look like this because you're not on a GoDaddy is not hosting your website. That company that is hosting your website and your domain, they will have some sort of interface where you can go to the domain and manage the DNS record. The DNS record is kind of like the rules for what everything is going to do, including your email address, because that is everything. The at, blah blah blah.com, that's your domain. So what that would look like on your side, I'm not sure, but you need to go to domains and then manage it. And then what you're looking for is something called the DNS record, which in my case is down here. And so that link that I sent you last night, where it's walking you through the process of updating the DNS record, that is, I'm going to kind of sort of ish show you. I'm sorry, my computer is not usually nearly this slow, but I've just got a lot on right now. So this is all the big scary stuff. It's really not that bad. All you're doing is somewhere you would have the ability to add a DNS record. You would be adding a CNAME record. And let me go to where I saw. Okay. Let me maximize this so you can see it. So what you're actually doing is you're creating the ability for the HubSpot email to be sent while the recipients believe that it's coming directly from you. And that is by taking this host name, okay, which is like this is where your host lives. And what you would do is you would copy this value, which when you go into HubSpot, it will show you.
HubSpot,
Oops,
copy the first
sorry.
entry in the value column.
Um, and then you would paste that into here. Here's an example of it. Now, just so you know, sometimes with some of the hosts, like with GoDaddy, they're picky, and so sometimes they don't actually want your full domain in the host area. So you would just take everything that is from the dot over and just get rid of it. Try it with it first, and if it doesn't work out right, just get rid of the period and after, okay? And then the other one is what goes. So, crap, can't see it anymore because I moved it. The other one is what would be going into that second area. This is the other one that I'm referring to, the value. Um, so you would just copy paste that and put that into the points to area, right? And that's like literally that's it. That's all you would have to do, and then hit save. Obviously, I'm not going to do that because it's not right for me. So I just wanted to show you that process because it really doesn't matter where you go, whether you're on GoDaddy or the host that you're using. That is the process that you need to complete in order to try to clean up your DKIM record. Now, there's also other records like SPF records. I don't know if that's going to be an issue. I can talk to you separately about that because there are ways that you can check into it with tools called like Postmaster tools. Anyway, let's go just briefly take a look at what the website builder that is the GoDaddy version is versus Wix, because from my point of view, it is much easier to deal with than Wix and allows for a much cleaner site. So first things first, what I mean by that, let's just take a look at what that would look like. Okay, so this is my back end and how I can change things. This is just a test site, so it's not perfect or anything. But it's a pretty clean layout. It gives a lot of features. Obviously, if you want to make different images or a totally different layout and not have a slider, I mean, there's a ton of themes you can use. This is just this right here, which, sorry, my computer is so slow right now because I have abused it. There we go. This is where you can do things like embed forms, like if you wanted to embed the subscribe form. This right here was, I just embedded a Google document with HTML. I'll show you how to do that real quick in a second. It's way easier than people realize. It even adds the functionality of having, like, you can actually change this if you want to into more of a chat function. This right here is more like an email version of it, but you can make it into more of a chat function if you want to hook up your phone number to it. Just so you kind of get an idea of what it would look like if it was in a mobile platform. This is basically how it lays out on mobile. So it's pretty responsive. It still cleans up. Now, anything you throw in there in HTML code, I mean, yes, you're gonna get the flow that you get. But I'm gonna show you something in a minute that will be a better indication of that. Okay, so as an example, let me go to the website editor, and it's pretty drag and drop. I'm just going to show you a quick example of adding a HubSpot form. So I need to do it as HTML. So I select that I want an HTML element, and I just say, yep, that's what I want. Okay. And you get this thing, and it's like, all right, what do you want to do with it? Well, you're going to put that code right here. So here's what that means. If you've already created a form in HubSpot, which I did just so I could give you an example, I created this form. If I want to embed it, I click that embed, and then I go to the embed code, and I copy that, because that's HTML code. And this is all I do. I simply come in here and I paste that code. And there's the form. Now, obviously it looks funky because it's in black, but that's just part of my theme. I can change all that. Yeah, so as you can see, it lays out pretty well. If you want to see what it looks like on, there's a little bit of variation here, but if you want to see, you can preview everything on desktop and on mobile. And as you see, the Google Docs, because it's not really meant to be an HTML embed, yeah, you can do it, but it looks a little funny. Stuff like this works out real well, though. Like, there's no weirdness here, like there was with the Google Doc. So anyway, the process of any of this, no matter what you're doing, any section, if you want to add photos, if you want to add blog posts, that's what that is. You can make a blog. You can share your blog to social media really easily. You can do things like add files that people can download if there were forums or something like that. You needed people. There's a ton of features in here, and I don't want to waste your time and like walk you through all of them. But there's just a lot that can be offered. So I'll give you an example. It says newsletters. What is really happening here is these were put in as blog posts, and they were assigned a category of newsletters so that only newsletters are showing in here, right? I could have 50 blog posts, but if they're not categorized as newsletters, they're not going to show up in here. So for instance, Sales sheets, and this is just a different format. Let me actually clarify. This section right here, the way that this looks, is just one of 3 versions of the quote blog post section. This is another of the 3 visual versions of the blog post section. It's just a different way of looking at it. These happen to be categorized as the North and South sales sheets and not newsletters, so that's why you're only seeing these here. A way to see that on the back end. So here's that on the back end. Let's say you changed your mind and you wanted it to have a different layout. Okay, great. Maybe you want that layout. Maybe you want that layout, right? Like this is so simple. This right here, this is your header. This theme allows you to either do a slideshow, which is what's happening now, and you can pick the images, you can change the text, whatever. You can do it as one static image. You could do it as a video if you wanted to just have a video of whatever was. That's totally up to you. Now, all of this is a result of whatever theme you chose to begin with. So when I say themes, that's basically the general layout of the site. This one that I'm using here is called Slate, but you can go back and forth and decide, well, maybe I want a different one. Maybe I want it to look this way. Maybe it, and all of this, even though this is generally speaking what the theme looks like, it's very, very interchangeable. So I'll just go ahead because I can undo any of this. That's another nice feature. So here, right now we have an alignment of in the middle. We can change it so it's left or right justified. That changes depending on the theme too. You can really manipulate a lot. You can change your theme colors, which that's basically your buttons and your text, and if it's light or dark or whatever, I'm not going to mess with it because I don't want to go into too much there. You can change your font schemes. Even though they do have combinations that are just kind of part of the template, you're not beholden to that. You can easily just select whichever ones you want individually. There are button styles. The button styles are also like when you go to a button, which by the way, you can either have a button, like this has a button, or you can not have a button. So it's up to you. Most sections come with buttons. You can decide if you want a different button style. You can decide if you want the button to actually be the theme color or if you just want it to be standard black and white. These are all individual. They don't necessarily, like, you can pick and choose. Okay. Let's see. I also want to clarify, we've made a lot of changes here. Let's say you didn't want to make those changes. Okay. If you go to settings, and you go to site history, this is basically a list of all the changes that I've made. If I want to just go, okay, I don't know what I just did, but I really don't want to have done that, so I'm going to back up and I'm going to go, let's say, right about here. Let's see what happens. So it's very forgiving. It's, you're not going to be stuck and not have a way to back out. You can back out step by step if you want. I could go into a lot of detail here. I just really don't want to throw that on to you. This right here is the blog feature. You could rig up an external blog if you wanted to. Again, the purpose of this is for marketing because you can share all of these posts. Making a blog post is as simple as you click on manage the blog. There's a back-end way to do it too, but don't need to talk about that right now. Oh God, I'm so sorry. My computer is being so slow right now. This is it. You create a post. You say words. You can add a picture if you want. You can change it so that the alignment of the picture is wherever you want it to be. And then you can assign it a category so that it goes into certain areas of your website. You can set a publish date, whether you want it to publish in advance or whether you want it to look like it's done behind. Once you do it, and I'm not going to publish it, but like when you publish it, you're going to get a pop-up that says, do you want to share this on social media, Twitter, whatever. But once you've made this post, it is basically, if you've categorized it, going to be part of wherever you've put that category on the website. I guess the biggest takeaway here is that it's a very drag and drop, easy tool to use. You can make a lot of very personalized changes. It shows up very clearly. There's just a lot of features. You can even do pop-ups. You can have this as like, a coming soon website page. It can have a link in it to go to a different page. It's just a ton of stuff that you can do. If you even wanted to, you can make a shop out of it. You basically build each product, and it allows you to have people purchase things through the site. I don't really know if that's something you want to do, but you can also do things like have people schedule appointments with you if you want them to schedule an appointment. So you would basically put in your availability, and it would build that section for you. I think that's probably enough to show you of the back end right now, unless you really want to walk through of it later. I've kind of put a lot of information just in this, and I know it was kind of just slammed in really fast, and I don't know how helpful it was, but I did want you to see that the tool itself is very forgiving and very easy to use, and as you can see, it does provide a pretty robust platform. Here's another. This is what I did for that candidate that I had worked for down here. You can add things like video pages from YouTube, or you can just self-host them. This is usually good for when you're trying to let people know what it is that you're doing. You could do something like this for the About section of the people who work for the company. There's different layouts. It doesn't have to be circles. It can be squares. But it's just clean. You can add a calendar. Obviously, there's the contact page, but I think in your case, the more important part is getting people to become part of your funnel, which is why embedding with the HTML is a useful tool so that you can get the HubSpot information captured directly from the website, which I'm sure you can probably do with Wix too. I can't imagine not. I never used it that way, but Wix has a lot of drawbacks. So if you can build a website, not on Wix, I would highly recommend that. Keep in mind, just so you know, everything that you're seeing here, like this is my pretend site. So you could do this too. You could quite literally go to GoDaddy, start building a site. You don't have to pay anything, right? And you're just going right along, and obviously since you haven't paid for it, if you published it, it's going to be this crappy little .GoDaddy sites with this watermark basically, but it allows you to build everything while whatever you've got going on the side is still standing, and once it's all done, all you would have to do is redirect the domain name, so your website address, to this brand new site that you've created once you've bought it, and it's a seamless transition so that you're not trying to build things as it still stands. The plans that they have, if you're monthly paying, the e-commerce, which I don't know that you need, but I probably would recommend either premium or I wouldn't recommend basic. So go through this if you want to take a look at it. You do get a substantial discount when you're doing the yearly, and you even get more of a substantial discount if you call them because they like to make deals, especially if you do 2 or 3 years at a time or something. But if you're figuring $14 a month for everything that's in here, including an email marketing campaign, if you wanted to use it, it's a pretty good deal to have a very useful tool. And even that one would get you up to 25,000 sends per month. So, you're able to see on the back end things like, obviously mine is not connected right now to Facebook, but you can connect your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, everything, your Google Analytics, so you know who's coming and what's going on. All of that will connect so that you can kind of see it in a very friendly process. Um, I don't know what else I can tell you right now. I'm just hoping that this gives you some idea of what is available to work with, and good luck.